With my particular situation, one of my charges were money laundering, because there was a particular time where we went to a car dealership. Peter said that he was going to get me this Jeep, where he knew that was kind of like my dream car. And when we got there, he traded in a vehicle and he put down a cash payment. But when it came time to wheel and deal in the financial office, guess who signed the paperwork? Me. And because I gave that particular information, that was considered money laundering. So again, please don't allow anyone to use your personal information, or it could be as simple as someone offering you to take their Escalade 2010, drive it down to Miami for spring break. I'll give you some spending money while you're there. You can have a ball, and you not know that there's drugs or stash in that car. And again, you just need to be very careful as far as who it is that you associate yourself with, and again, be careful of the choices that you make just for that quick money. In my past, I made choices during this 3.5-year relationship with Peter, which led to my present, which is receiving a 24.5-year prison sentence, a sentence that was actually longer than I had been living on this earth. I gave birth to my son while incarcerated, and again, I'm very grateful for the parents that I had, because, you know, sometimes when you go in life, and especially after you turn 18, hear me, young people, there are certain choices that you make, and I'm grateful that my parents were the type of parents that even when I fell, they stood by me 110% when they didn't have to. Some parents don't feel that way, and you need to make sure that you understand that. But my dad was the type of father, when I turned myself in 7 months pregnant to the authorities, and my dad knew that I was going to be going to this particular hospital to give birth. So he went to the hospital beforehand to let them know that I was coming, because he didn't want the hospital administration to see this little black girl with her hair braided in an orange jumpsuit, pregnant with handcuffs on, thinking that I didn't have a family member that cared for me. And so he met the administration, and then when it came time where I did give birth, 5 minutes after I gave birth, the U.S. Marshals came into my hospital room and said that I couldn't have any visitors, that my leg had to be shackled to the bed, and that I had to have 2 correctional officers guarding me at all times, and my parents had to leave the room. Fortunately, 5 minutes later, the woman who was head of the hospital, the women's part of the hospital, came in and said, "This is my hospital. I'm going to run it the way that I want to," and she allowed my parents to stay next door. That's God's grace and favor. But had that not happened, my son would have automatically gone into the social service system, because there wouldn't have been anyone to physically take custody of him after I left the hospital. After I was sentenced, I realized that I wasn't due to be released until my son was a grown man.